Beloved, the universe is a storehouse of infinite supply, and all that is yours by divine right stands ready to rush to you, the moment you call it forth with certainty. But many live as though the vault of heaven were locked, when in truth, it swings wide at the sound of your unquestioning word. You are not a beggar before life. You are the heir of a limitless kingdom. Command your divine supply, for it is not arrogance to claim what is already yours. It is obedience to the laws of spirit. The moment you know yourself as the channel of the infinite, you cease to strain, you cease to fear lack, and you stand as the still, unwavering center from which blessings pour. Life answers not to timid hopes, but to confident decrees. If you whisper to the universe, it may not hear you above the noise of doubt. But if you speak from the high tower of faith, the very elements hasten to fulfill your word. Supply is not earned, it is accepted. It is not wrested from a reluctant world. It flows through you as freely as sunlight through open windows. You do not persuade the sun to shine. It shines by its nature. So too your good seeks you without pause, and your only work is to stand where you can receive it, unclouded by fear, unblocked by resentment, unweighted by unworthiness. There is a place within you, deeper than thought, where no limitation dwells. That place is your point of command. From there, you speak not as a human personality straining to make things happen, but as the divine self, already one with the thing desired. When you say, I receive my supply now, you do not plead, you state a fact, and in the invisible, the command is obeyed instantly. Matter reshapes itself, circumstances rearrange, and what seemed impossible begins to take on form. The world will tell you to be reasonable, to calculate, to measure what you can expect according to the visible facts. But Spirit says, look to me alone. Command and it shall be done. You must understand, there is no virtue in lack, poverty is no badge of holiness, and struggle is no mark of divine favor. The flowers in the field do not ration the rain, nor do the birds barter for the worm. All receive freely in season and in fullness. Why then should you, the crown of creation, live as though life were a reluctant giver? No. My dear one, your acceptance must be lavish, your expectation great, your vision unbounded. When you command your supply, you are aligning with the order of the universe, which knows no shortage, only abundance. Your word is law to your world. The untrained mind fritters away this power in idle talk, in fearsome speculation, in lamentations of, I cannot, and, it will never happen. Each such statement is a command to the unseen, and the unseen obeys without judgment, without question. Speak lack, and lack responds. Speak delay, and delay manifests. But speak abundance with unwavering certainty, and abundance rushes to fill the vacuum your faith has created. The secret is not in demanding from others, but in commanding from the source, quietly, firmly, joyfully, knowing that no human agent can withhold that which the infinite has decreed yours. You are the vessel through which the river flows, but you are not the river's origin. When you confuse the two, you begin to worry that the spring might run dry. Yet the spring is eternal, hidden in the heart of the divine, and its waters seek you as eagerly as you seek them. Stop damming the flow with fear. Stop tightening your grip around what you have as though nothing more were coming. Loosen, open, release, and then command, my supply appears now, in perfect ways under grace. And watch as unseen channels open, opportunities present themselves. And what you once thought of as coincidence reveals itself as divine orchestration. The mind trained in truth becomes a magnetic field for every form of good. Opportunities, people, ideas and resources gravitate to it as iron filings to a magnet. Why? Because it is aligned with the principle of plenty, free of the static of doubt. When you command your supply, you are not shouting at the universe. You are harmonizing with its song. You are entering the rhythm where giving and receiving are one, where you can neither outgive nor outreceive the infinite. It is the perfect circle, and you stand at its center. You cannot command what you do not expect. Expectation is the open gate through which your supply arrives. Many say the words but close the gate with their next breath. I know abundance is mine, but is the lock on the door. Remove it. Speak as one who already sees the arrival. Praise the unseen gift as if it were already in your hand. Give thanks before the evidence appears, and the evidence will appear because thanks is a signal to the universe that the delivery is complete. You will find that the moment you shift from asking to receiving, from waiting to having, the supply rushes in to meet the new reality you have embraced. And yet, to command is not to strain. There is no clenched fist in true faith. The power of command is the power of calm authority. The oak tree does not shout at the sun to rise, it simply turns its leaves to meet it. You must speak to your good in the same tone, with serene assurance that what is called will come. Declare it morning, and the sun will oblige. Declare your supply, and it will stand before you, clothed in the perfect form your need requires. There is no need to outline the method, for the infinite is ingenious. It can bring your supply from channels you know not of, in ways you could never have devised. Your part is to be clear in the essence of your desire, and firm in the certainty of its manifestation. The form may change, the channel may surprise you, but the essence, abundance, freedom, joy, will be delivered in the perfect way. When you say, "My divine supply comes to me now," you are not speaking into the void. You are speaking into the living substance of the universe, which reshapes itself instantly around your decree. It is like striking a tuning fork, all of life vibrates to match your tone. If you fear to command, it is only because you have believed yourself separate from the source. But you are not separate. The wave is not separate from the ocean, and the branch is not separate from the vine. Your command is not rebellion. It is resonance. It is the wave declaring its right to crest, the branch declaring its right to bear fruit. In that moment, the ocean rises to meet the wave, the vine sends sap to the branch, and the supply rushes forth. Every command is an act of recognition. You are recognizing the truth that abundance is here now. You are recognizing that the spirit within you is the spirit that made and maintains worlds. You are recognizing that there is no power in the seen greater than the power in the unseen. And when you recognize this deeply enough, the very molecules of your world rearrange to reflect it. Bills are paid through unexpected channels. Debts dissolve in the light of unexpected provision. What was closed opens. What was missing appears. What was delayed arrives. It is vital to remove from your command all traces of worry, haste, or desperation. These are the languages of disbelief. Your supply does not respond to the push of fear. It responds to the pull of certainty. Fear is a dam in the river. Faith is the removal of the stone that blocks the flow. And gratitude is the widening of the riverbanks, allowing more to rush through. To command your supply is to enter the state where you feel its presence so vividly that the absence is unthinkable. You become like one who, having placed an order in a trusted store, walks away knowing the package will arrive, with no need to pace the floor or plead for delivery. Your faith is your receipt. Your word is your purchase order. Your joy is your tracking number, signaling that the delivery is already en route. Hold these with unwavering trust, and the outer world will hurry to catch up to the inner truth you have established. The timing is perfect, the method flawless. For the divine does not deal in mistakes or delays. Only your resistance can interfere, and even then, the supply waits patiently until you open the door again. The habit of commanding your supply must become as natural as breathing. In every situation, large or small, train yourself to turn inward and state the truth. If a bill arrives, instead of shrinking back in dread, declare, "This is already paid in full by divine supply, which now manifests for me." If an opportunity seems out of reach, say, "What is mine comes to me now, under grace, in perfect ways." If your hands are empty, say, "The storehouse of heaven is open to me now, and I receive without strain or struggle." And then act in accordance with the fact you have declared. Walk as though it were done, speak as though it were done, feel as though it were done, and it will be. Remember, there is no limit to the amount of good you may receive, except the limit you impose by disbelief. The ocean does not ration the waves, the sun does not measure out light by the spoonful. Why then should the infinite weigh and measure what it gives you? The measure you receive is the measure you believe possible. Enlarge the measure, and the supply enlarges with it. Do not be modest in your expectation. Modesty in this realm is a form of mistrust. The divine is delighted to pour out blessings until they overflow your capacity to contain them. If only you will command it so. And as you step into this awareness, beloved, you begin to see that the command is not just words. It is vibration. The spoken word is the outer ripple, but the inner conviction is the tide that carries it to manifestation. When you command your divine supply, you are sending out a note so clear, so unwavering, that the entire universe harmonizes with it. The people, places, and circumstances that resonate with your note will appear, those that do not will drift away. This is why the command must be pure, unmixed with fear, contradiction, or double-mindedness. A note that wavers will never ring clear. You must decide, once and for all, that abundance is your birthright and your constant companion. The world is full of examples of people who have lived in constant supply, and if you look closely, you will see that it is not because they are more deserving than others, but because they have made a silent, unshakable decree within themselves that lack is impossible for them. They do not entertain the thought of shortage. They live as though the channels of supply are always open, and thus they are. The world reflects their inner law, just as it will reflect yours. When you shift your consciousness from, "How will this happen?" to, "It is already mine," the current of life will adjust itself to your new position of command. And here is a great secret: your supply is often standing just outside your door, waiting for you to give it permission to enter. It does not intrude. It responds to your word, your mental blueprint, your spiritual claim. Imagine the mailman waiting at the gate with your package, unwilling to force it into your hands unless you open them. This is how the universe treats your supply. It is always ready to deliver, but you must be willing to take it. And willingness is not passive. Willingness is an active, joyful, confident receiving. It is saying, "I know it is mine, and I accept it now." Many confuse desire with command. Desire is the seed, but command is the germination. 1,000 seeds may lie on the table, but without planting, they will never grow. Command plants the seed in the rich soil of faith, waters it with expectation, and basks it in the sunlight of gratitude. And once you have commanded, you must resist the urge to dig it up every hour, to see if it has begun to sprout. Trust the process. Nature moves with perfect timing. You do not command in impatience. You command in perfect peace, knowing that the moment you spoke the word, the invisible forces began their work. You must also understand that supply is not always delivered in the exact way you imagine, but it is always delivered in the way most perfect for you. Your limited picture may show one channel, but the infinite has 1,000. If you insist on only one channel, you may close the door to the very path your supply wishes to take. The command should be for the essence, wealth, freedom, opportunity, while leaving the form to the wisdom of the infinite. In this way, you allow life to surprise you with greater blessings than you could have designed for yourself. There will be times when the outer evidence seems to contradict your command. This is when most abandon their decree and fall back into the old habit of worry. But you, who know the truth, will not be moved by appearances. You will hold your command as a lighthouse holds its beam, steady, unshaken, lighting the way until the ship arrives. In fact, the more the outer world seems to oppose your word, the more you should strengthen your inner certainty. The opposition is but the old pattern dying, the shell cracking before the new life emerges. Do not mistake the sound of the shell breaking for disaster. It is the sound of birth. There is no such thing as a command that fails when it is backed by unwavering faith. The only reason a command seems unanswered is because it is withdrawn too soon, or issued from a place of doubt. Doubt is like static on a radio. It garbles the signal until the message cannot be received clearly. Clear the static by daily reminding yourself of your oneness with the infinite, of the endless nature of its storehouse, of the law that responds unfailingly to your word. When you saturate your mind with these truths, doubt finds no foothold, and your command is like a lightning bolt, direct, immediate, unstoppable. Every thought you think, every word you speak, is either commanding supply or commanding its absence. There is no neutral command. This is why idle chatter about lack, hard times, or not enough, is so dangerous. It is the issuing of destructive decrees. To speak lack is to send the universe an order form for more of the same. Guard your tongue, and you will guard your supply. Let your words be so steeped in abundance that even casual conversation radiates prosperity. People will feel it around you. They will sense that you are anchored in a different current, one that always carries more to shore. Another great key is to command not only for yourself, but for others. When you see someone in need, silently declare for them, "You are supplied in perfect ways, under grace." In doing so, you align yourself even more deeply with the principle of abundance. For you cannot sincerely command good for another without reinforcing your own claim to it. The law of life is oneness, and what you affirm for another, you strengthen for yourself. This practice also removes the temptation to fall into pity or shared fear, which only multiplies the vibration of lack. Instead, you become a broadcasting station for divine supply in every direction. Now, to those who say, "But I have commanded, and still I do not see the result," I say, look again. Look beyond the surface. The moment you issued the command, forces were set in motion. Some of those forces involve rearranging outer circumstances, shifting people, moving events into place. From your vantage point, it may appear that nothing is happening, but under the surface, the roots are spreading, the connections are forming, the unseen scaffolding is being built. The day will come when the manifestation appears in such a perfect way that you will laugh at your former impatience. Do not fall into the trap of commanding once and then forgetting the spirit of it in your daily actions. Your actions must align with your decree. If you command abundance but live in constant worry, hoarding every coin as though no more will come, you are canceling your order with each fearful act. Walk, speak, and give as one who lives in continual supply. This does not mean reckless spending. It means confident circulation. When you release freely, knowing the flow is unbroken, you are keeping the river clear. The water that stands still grows stagnant, but the water that moves stays fresh. One of the greatest demonstrations of command is in the act of giving from your own current supply. This is not loss. It is multiplication. Giving affirms that your source is not in the small pile before you, but in the endless storehouse behind you. You give as a king gives, knowing more is always on the way. In this way, you command not just with words but with the language of action, which the universe understands perfectly. Your gesture says, "I live in a river, not a pond," and the river responds by flowing more freely. Beloved, you are not here to scrape and scrabble for crumbs at the edge of life's table. You are here to feast, and to invite others to feast with you. The command of your divine supply is not selfish. It is the opposite. When you are in supply, you can give, share, uplift, and create at levels impossible in lack. The artist cannot paint without colors, the builder cannot build without tools, and the soul cannot fully express itself in constant worry over means. Supply is the fuel for your divine expression, and it is right that you should call it forth. It is time to release every false belief you have ever held about money, wealth, or provision being worldly or unspiritual. The very atoms of gold are as divine as the petals of a rose, and the same infinite mind conceived both. There is no realm of God that does not include abundance, for God is wholeness, and wholeness lacks nothing. When you command your supply, you are not dragging something unholy into your life. You are bringing into form the very essence of divine completeness. When you awaken each morning, before the mind begins to chatter, before the old patterns of thought slip back in, take a moment to affirm with authority. Today, my divine supply flows to me in perfect ways, under grace, with ease and with joy. There is no lack in my world. There is no delay in my good. All that is mine by divine right appears now. Let this be the first decree of your day, and let it shape the tone of every action that follows. You will notice that as you hold this vibration from the outset, the day unfolds in harmony. Ideas come easily. People show up at the right time. Doors open without strain. You must understand, the command is not only for the grand desires, the new home, the career breakthrough, the financial windfall. It is for the smallest needs as well. The same law governs both the parking space you require and the fortune you seek. There is no hierarchy of miracles. The infinite does not strain more to produce one than the other. The ocean does not exert greater effort to fill a cup than to fill a lake. Once you grasp this, you stop reserving your decrees for important matters and begin to live in a continual state of command and receipt. Life then becomes a seamless dance between your word and its manifestation. Never fall into the thought that you must earn the right to command your supply. That right was given to you by virtue of your very existence. Just as a child does not earn the right to breathe the air or drink the water, you do not earn the right to your good. It is inherent. The law of supply is a spiritual law, and spiritual laws operate regardless of merit in the human sense. They respond to belief, to alignment, to command. This is why those who understand the law may live in greater abundance than those who toil endlessly without knowledge of it. The difference is not effort, it is consciousness. If you are in a place where lack has seemed to reign for a long time, I tell you now, that reign is over the moment you decide it is. Lack has no power except that which you lend it through your acceptance. Withdraw that acceptance and replace it with your command. Say to yourself, this condition is not the truth of me. I am the channel of infinite supply, and I now receive my good in overflowing measure. Refuse to rehearse the story of your lack. The more you tell it, the more you anchor it. Instead, tell the story of your abundance, even before it has appeared in form. Speak of it in the present tense, for the present is the only point of creation. Many will ask, but isn't that lying to myself? It is not lying. It is telling the deeper truth. The outer world is but a delayed reflection of the inner state. If the reflection in the mirror shows a frown, you do not scold the mirror. You change the expression on your face. So too with lifing you change the inner tone, and the outer world must eventually match it. When you speak of your abundance before seeing it, you are adjusting the inner reality so the outer reflection can catch up. The command is the turning of the inner face toward the light. There is a subtle danger in constantly watching for the manifestation. This watching can quickly turn into doubt, as the mind begins to measure how long it's taking. Do not watch the pot. Command the feast and then go about your joy. This is not avoidance, it is trust. The farmer does not dig up the seeds each morning to check their progress. He tends to the soil, waters them, and carries on, knowing that the harvest is certain. In the same way, tend to your own vibration, water your command with gratitude, and let the universe handle the mechanics. Gratitude, in fact, is the secret fuel of your command. When you give thanks for your supply as though it were already here, you are telling the universe that the delivery is complete. Gratitude closes the circuit between command and manifestation. Without it, the circuit remains open, the energy incomplete. Begin now to give thanks for every sign of supply, no matter how small. Did you find a coin on the street? Give thanks, for it is evidence that you are magnetic to money. Did an unexpected gift come your way? Give thanks, for it is proof that channels are opening. Each act of thanksgiving expands the current. Another truth you must hold in your supply is not dependent on one person, one job, one investment, one source. The infinite has endless channels, and to tie your good to a single one is to limit the flow. When a channel closes, it is not the supply that has ended. It is simply that the supply will now come through a different opening. Do not cling to the form. Do not weep over the closing door. Stand in the certainty that the flow is unbroken, and a greater channel is already moving toward you. This attitude alone will keep you from the panic and fear that choke off the very thing you desire. And I tell you, there is immense power in speaking your command aloud, not only in the silence of your mind. The vibration of the spoken word is a creative force in itself. When you declare, "My divine supply appears now in perfect ways," and you hear your own voice say it, the command drops deeper into your consciousness. It becomes more real, more tangible. Speak it in the morning, speak it before bed, speak it whenever a shadow of doubt tries to creep in. Let the sound of your own authority banish the whisper of lack. As you practice this, you will begin to notice the speed of manifestation increasing. This is not because the law has changed. It is because your alignment has become more consistent. At first, you may need to repeat your command often to override the old patterns, but soon it will become your natural state to expect supply. And when expectation is constant, the time between command and manifestation collapses. What once took weeks now takes days. What took days now takes hours, and some things will appear instantly, as if by magic. There is nothing magical about it though. It is law. It is the same law that governs the seed and the harvest, the tide and the moon, the orbit of the stars. The difference is that you are using it consciously, deliberately, joyfully. And the more you use it, the more you will see that life was never meant to be a struggle for survival, but a canvas for expression, painted with the colors of your choosing. Supply is one of those colors, rich, vibrant, always available, and you hold the brush. Do not keep your command locked in the realm of material goods alone. Command your supply of ideas, of inspiration, of courage, of joy. The same principle applies. If you are an artist, command the vision for your next creation. If you are a leader, command the wisdom for your next decision. If you are a healer, command the energy for your next session. The divine storehouse holds more than gold and silver. It holds every form of good, every resource you could ever need for the fulfillment of your purpose. Above all, let your command be an act of joy, not strain. If you feel tense, pause and return to the truth that there is nothing to wrestle into being. You are not forcing the universe. You are aligning with it. The river does not need you to push it. It needs you to open the gate. When you remember this, the act of commanding becomes a delight. You will speak your word with the same ease that you breathe, knowing the air will be there to fill your lungs. And so, beloved, begin now. Not tomorrow, not when the circumstances look better. Not when you feel ready. Begin where you are, with what you have. In the face of whatever evidence stands before you. Command your supply, and then live as though the command is already fulfilled. You will find that life cannot resist the pull of your unwavering word. And the day will come when you will look back and wonder how you ever doubted. You will find, as you persist in this practice, that the world begins to mirror your inner decree in the most unexpected ways. A conversation overheard will contain the very idea you needed. A stranger's remark will open a door you didn't even know existed. An opportunity will arrive that seems to have been custom made for you, though in truth it was your command that sculpted it into being. These so-called coincidences are nothing more than the invisible becoming visible, the unseen arrangement stepping forward into form. And the more you notice them, the more they will multiply, for attention is also a form of command. This is why it is so vital to train your attention. If you dwell on lack, you reinforce it. If you dwell on abundance, you amplify it. The command is not just an isolated moment of declaration. It is the constant current of your focus. Every time you choose to see proof of supply, you are strengthening the very law that governs it. And there is always proof to see, if you will only look. The earth itself is proof. The forests that regrow after fire, the rivers that continue to flow year after year, the sun that rises without fail. Life itself is the evidence that supply is unending. When you live in this awareness, you begin to move differently in the world. Your steps carry confidence, your words carry assurance, and your presence becomes magnetic. Others may not know why they feel drawn to you, but it is because you carry the vibration of someone who knows their needs are always met. You are no longer a seeker. You are a knower. And those who know draw to themselves the means for every desire without chasing, without pleading, without compromise. You become the embodiment of the very truth you command. Do not be surprised if, as you hold this vibration, some people around you resist or challenge it. They may say you are unrealistic, that you are living in a fantasy. Let them. Their disbelief is their own command, and they will live by it. You need not persuade them. Your demonstration will speak more loudly than any argument. In time, some will come to you quietly, asking how you do it. And you will have the joy of sharing the truth, that the power was never in circumstances, but in the consciousness behind them. There is a deep peace that comes when you realize you need never scramble, never fight for your good again. The outer world may appear chaotic, economies may rise and fall, but you will know that your supply is anchored in something untouched by any fluctuation. You are tethered to the eternal, and from that place, you can walk calmly through storms. This calm is not passivity, it is the highest form of mastery. It is the stillness of one who knows that the command has already been given, and the answer has already been set in motion. And oh, how the universe loves a calm commander! When you speak your word without agitation, without desperation, you are declaring to life itself, I trust you completely. That trust creates an open channel through which your good rushes unhindered. It is like removing the last stone from a dam. The moment it falls away, the water surges forward with a force you could never have summoned by effort alone. The dam was never in the river. It was in you. And your command, spoken in calm authority, is the removal of that barrier. There may come moments when the appearance of lack tries to intimidate you, to make you believe that your command has failed. In those moments, you must be more steadfast than ever. Speak your word again, not with strain, but with renewed conviction. This is only an appearance. My supply is here now. My channels are open. Nothing can be withheld from me. For what is mine by divine right is irresistibly drawn to me. And then act as though it were so, because it is so. Appearances are shadows. The command is the substance. Shadows vanish in the presence of unwavering light. You will also notice that as you command your supply, your desires will refine themselves. You may begin by calling forth things you thought you needed, only to discover that what you truly wanted was the freedom, joy, and expansion they represent. And as you command from this deeper place, you will see the universe delivering the essence in forms more beautiful than you imagined. Perhaps you thought you needed a certain job for security, but instead you receive an opportunity that gives you both security and a greater purpose. Perhaps you thought you needed a certain sum of money, but instead you receive the resources, connections, and inspiration to create far beyond that amount. This is the elegance of the Lauda. It gives not only what you ask for, but what you would have asked for, if you had seen as clearly as the infinite sees. Your part is to command the essence and trust the form. When you do this, disappointment vanishes, for you know that every delivery is custom, made for your highest good. You stop fearing the how, and rest in the certainty of the what. And in that certainty, the flow never ceases. Beloved, this is the life you were meant to live. Not one of scraping by, but one of commanding with grace. And the more you live it, the more natural it will feel. Until commanding your supply is no different than turning on a light switch. You simply expect the illumination to come, because you know the current is always there. The switch does not create the electricity, it merely opens the way for it to flow. Your command is the switch. The supply is already present, humming in the background of your life, waiting for you to let it through. And let it through you must, for your supply is not meant to stagnate in your hands. As it comes, let it circulate. Give where you are led to give. Invest where you are led to invest. Share your good openly, knowing that what you release returns multiplied. This keeps the current fresh, vibrant, and ever expanding. The one who hoards out of fear creates a pool that grows stale. The one who circulates out of faith becomes a river that grows wider with each passing season. It is a beautiful thing to stand as such a river in the world. You become a blessing not only to yourself, but to all who come near your banks. And as they drink from your overflow, they too begin to believe in the law of supply, and in time they will become rivers themselves. This is how the consciousness of abundance spreads. Not by force, but by example. By the quiet, radiant demonstration of one who lives in harmony with the truth. So command boldly, live joyfully, give freely, and watch as the storehouses of heaven open wider and wider. And when they do, you will know it was never a matter of convincing the universe to give. It was only a matter of convincing yourself to receive. Beloved, the law of supply is eternal, unbroken, and already at work in your life at this very moment. The river has never stopped flowing, you have only to open the gates. To command your divine supply is not to plead, to bargain, or to chase. It is to stand in the calm authority of your spiritual inheritance, and speak the truth that has always been true. I am fully provided for, now and always. When you live from this knowing, the world bends to match your decree. Doors open that were sealed shut. Opportunities find you without strain. The very air seems charged with possibility, because you have taken your place as a conscious co-creator with the infinite. Lack becomes a forgotten language you no longer speak, replaced by the fluent, effortless speech of abundance. And so, go forward now, not as a seeker of provision, but as a commander of it. Let every word you speak, every thought you entertain, and every action you take affirm the law you know, that what is yours by divine right is irresistibly drawn to you, in perfect ways, under grace, and in perfect time. Give thanks as though it were already here, for in truth it is. The storehouses of heaven are open, the current is flowing, and you, beloved, are ready to receive without limit, without delay, without doubt. Command it so, and so it is.